Well, it's official. I went through the Windows recovery process, wiped everything, essentially repartitioned the drive, reinstalled Windows, started from scratch. I just started getting all my programs put back on. I've got putting Premiere and Lightroom through Adobe Creative Cloud. I was getting ready to do some driver updates, but I was in the middle of installing the Logitech options because I have this nice Craft Logitech keyboard. So it updated the firmware on the little dongle on the wireless receiver. It updated the keyboard, the drivers, everything, getting it all ready to go. And then during the process of all this, the computer seized. So I'm moving the mouse and I've got nothing. Cursor's frozen. The time is frozen. It's now 6:21. So it's been frozen now for a few minutes. I've tried all the keyboard shortcuts, Control Delete, and it's frozen. So I definitely can eliminate software as the issue. It must be hardware at this point. So I went and took off the case, try to let this thing breathe a little bit, try to let the hot air come out of the processor a little bit and rise upward instead of possibly getting trapped in here with the case. Airflow is good. This graphics card, this is actually a sucker fan right here, or it's an intake fan, and the exhaust port is on the back side. So airflow would come in here across the drive, be pulled up here with the with this intake fan and blown out here. There's not much air that can pass through here to reach the coolant fan, but there is the suction from this very large fan up top and this one right here that should pull a little something up here and across the processor. But this definitely is a hardware problem. I have done absolutely everything I can software-wise to rectify this issue of the computer freezing, but it's still running into issues. The power supply down here is a little bit weird. So the text is legible here, but it's upside down here, and also on the back right here. I'm thinking to maybe flip it upside down, but the issue is this is this filter right here. I don't have any fingernails. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Okay. This is an exhaust fan, so this is actually blowing out. The reason I have this in this orientation is I didn't want this in the reverse to have hot air blowing up against the video card. So this shouldn't be causing any issues. This is actually pumping heat outside of the box and out of the airflow going up to the upper corners of the box. I guess I don't know if I don't even really need to keep this filter on here. Matter of fact, I could probably remove it to help the airflow better here, since this is not an intake. Oh man, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a mini ATX board, micro mini. I can't even recall what it is, but anyways, it's a smaller board, and the cases are a little bit smaller as well. A lot of them have an enclosure for the power supply, and the drives are separated from the motherboard and all the interior components. And the fan, the little entry fan, will be here. The board is a lot smaller, but as you see, I'm really not running much of anything. I've got the my Vega 56 graphics card. I've got an ATX, an AMD 3 R2 processor running just with the factory fan. I've got these two fans. I can reuse this fan obviously, and the one that I have in here, and I also have one in a box that I can reuse, and then the 4 sticks of RAM. I don't need a super extreme motherboard. I'm not doing any water cooling. I just need something that will run basic stuff. And then I've got these 2 optical drives here that I haven't used in many years. I got a DVD writer and a Blu-ray drive, and I've had this since since Blu-ray players were in the hundreds of dollars. And I actually got this. I mean, this was the cheapest way to get into Blu-ray at the time, and I think I got this sub $100 when most Blu-ray players in the stores were still $300, $400, $500. when you could still buy a VHS player. So this is unfortunately this is my old ancient PC setup, and I've had this for far too long. This setup has served me. I moved to Puerto Rico with this, and I moved there in 2011. So the case is at least a decade old. The optical drives are also probably about that same age. I did wind up having to replace. I had a dual SLI. So I had two video cards, and they were linked with a little SLI bridge. But during my move to Puerto Rico, one of them got damaged during the move. So I think this is probably my second or third video card since then. This is my second or third power supply since then. Um, this is my second or third processor. So I started off, I had just a regular AM3 processor. I upgraded that to an AM3 Black Series, and then I upgraded to this AM3 Plus. Um, this is a Black Series. It's a 8350 or something like that. I'll get all the specs and I'll put that on the screen for you guys here, so you can take a look at what I'm running. And then I've got four sticks of 8 gigabyte RAM. Yeah, 16. Yep, 32. So yeah, I've got 32 gigabytes of RAM in here, but the motherboard, its limit is actually 16 gigs. But because of all the hackery I've done by putting this processor that's not even supposed to run on this motherboard, it seems to work well with the extra RAM, and it recognizes all 32 gigabytes, runs perfectly fine with that. But I'm thinking between running the processor that's not designed for the motherboard and that the RAM is fine, and I even took it down to 16 gigabytes, and I'm still having this problem with it freezing up. So I don't think it's a RAM issue, and I don't think it's an overheating issue. I mean, nothing in here is getting so hot that it would be any kind of issue. I'm also not getting any blue screens of death either. The computer just freezes or just simply shuts off and goes and reboots and starts the boot cycle once again. But I'm pretty convinced that my problem is the motherboard, because it is one of the older components. I've had that. I'm pretty confident. I want to say it's the one I moved to Puerto Rico with. I don't think I've replaced that motherboard. So that motherboard may be about a decade old. I could be wrong. I'll have to go through my New Edge purchases and see. But it is well, it's definitely lived out its life. So I think it's time for an update. Um, and by the way, if any of y'all know of any keyboards like this with like the kind of laptop looking keys, like this real slim, the slim kind of keyboard, I absolutely love this Logitech keyboard, but it's not wired, and because it's not wired, when I can't get into the BIOS without plugging in a wired keyboard. Now I got this crappy little thing for like 30 bucks. It doesn't have any backlighting. It's got a cool little orange rim, but other than that, it's not great to type on. The keys are spaced too far apart. I get a lot of false key presses, or just straight up I'll hit the key and it won't even register. But if you guys know of anything that's like of this quality, and this kind of spacing, I love these like little divots on the keys and things like that, but that is wired, please send me a link, comment below, please let me know, because I'm dying to get a nice wired keyboard that has that setup. And I've done a little bit of searching on Amazon, and I've just had no luck whatsoever. So I've pretty much run out of options. Photo editing, I mean, I can only get, sometimes 15 minutes out of this before it freezes up. And, occasionally sometimes it'll give me an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, but I cannot get a full day of operation out of this PC at this point. So there's no gaming on Windows. A lot of my media production is being put on hold because of the status of the PC. I'm trying to edit a video right now of a drift event that I went to in October of 2018. And I have drone footage, and then I also have GoPro footage mounted on the window right behind me. So you can see my input, my steering wheel input, as well as what I can see through the front glass of the car, but also things along the left side of the car. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do a split screen between the drone footage, probably on the right, and that GoPro footage on the left. And I'm trying to synchronize them up so that you can see like an exterior and an interior view of what's happening in the car. And I was really hoping to have that done by the end of the day, but I'm just continually running into issue after issue with the PC. And I'm going to these absolute extremes to try to get it repaired. I'm just trying to do everything I can for free to eliminate software as the issue. And I'm 100% confident it has nothing to do with Windows at this point. It doesn't seem to be a failing hard drive. The hard drive seems to be in good health. That is not that old. That's a 1 terabyte solid state drive. Matter of fact, I didn't point that out, but here is the here's the SSD right here. 6 gigabyte connection there. I mean, it's plenty fast. So it's down to hardware. So now it's actually going to cost me something, and I'm hoping that the revenues that I'm getting from YouTube will be enough to offset this a little bit. I'm actually trying to save up money to move, pay off my debts, sell a car. I don't know, somewhere in the middle of all of this, I'm going to try to scrape the money together to just replace the minimal components necessary to get that thing running reliably. And I'm quite confident at this point it's the motherboard. But if I'm going to go to that smaller motherboard, I need to get a case designed for that smaller motherboard. And I think all in all, it's probably going to be around $200. Because of this, I'm actually considering maybe putting together a Patreon page. I never thought I would do that, but and I've never had anyone offer me money through YouTube, but I would love to have that as an option just in case anyone ever felt generous enough to help me out, to help continue to create content for this channel and keep promoting, assist me to continue to make more videos. Sorry, I get really weird when talking about money. It's just not something I enjoy talking about, but right now I'm really in a pinch, and if anyone on the channel is interested in helping me out, let me know. And I mean, I can set up a way that you can send me money through PayPal for now, or I'll set up a Patreon account eventually. Anyways, I thank you all for sticking with me through all of this and ups and downs and being patient. Unfortunately, this is going to be the video that I upload today for my weekly video on Saturday. I apologize. This is just me ranting. It's relatively uncut. I don't even think I'm going to edit this. I may put it on the Linux laptop and run it through a program that I use called Flowblade? Yeah, I think it's Flowblade. That works pretty well for just some basic cuts. But when it comes to double videos and transitions and especially like zooming or cropping or doing two videos side by side, that program is just incapable of doing any of that. So that's why I flip over to the Windows OS and use Premiere Pro. And I was also going to use After Effects a little bit to do some tracking of the vehicle on the drone footage to try to provide a nice, clean, stable shot. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, get it on the laptop, I guess, and do a really rough, quick edit, put my intro and outro on there, and try to get this uploaded tonight. I do apologize. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next week I'll be back with some good content. I may just have to skip that drift video for now and move on to another project. I have all of these things scheduled out. I use Asana to schedule all of the shooting and filming and ideas or whatever is coming into my head that I want to film in the coming weeks or days or whatever. And I try to stick to that schedule as much as possible, but recently I've gotten way off of that and kind of got on these little tangents of things that I'm doing. I'm going to try to get back on that schedule next week. Hopefully you'll have a nice edited video from me. Maybe with some luck in about a month or two, I'll have enough money to fix the PC and get you guys some better, higher quality content. But for now, I'm just shooting this off of my cell phone. This is being shot on my HTC Exodus 1. This is 1080p at 30 frames a second, so it should be optically and digitally stabilized. I apologize for going back and forth in my chair. I'm just a little wound up right now and kind of upset with the computer. Anyways, love y'all. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. You know the deal. Thumbs up, ding the bell, yada, yada, yada. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And thanks for being there for me. Bye.